What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Ham Radio Crash Course. Welcome to Saturday. It's a big Saturday. I had a big week, and I hope you had a lot of fun. We're talking about antennas today, portable antennas specifically, with Mike, K8MRD Radio Stuff. We'll be talking about his pros and cons and also my pros and cons, and I think Mike and I line up in a lot of cases, but maybe we'll have some hot takes for y'all that neither of us expected. Enjoy the memes as we get things kicked off. All right. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Oh, and that's the wrong one. I did it again last week. I have to fix those links. I've got that Stream Deck box that I click through. Anyway, how's it going, everybody? I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. Thanks so much for tuning into the Ham Radio Crash Course for our weekly live stream. We really do appreciate you coming out. I'm in the chat. My wife's in the chat. Lots of other folks are in the chat. We've got a lot of people here, including Mike. K8MRD is in the chat as well. So we'll be trying to keep an eye on the chat. As questions come up, we'll try and handle them and take the questions live. So keep them coming. And as always, you can join us right after the live stream over on Discord, the Ham Radio Crash Course Discord. Link is in the description. It's a text chat and voice chat. Take your questions live. We play around with different radio things. Usually I break out something new that I haven't shown anybody yet, or I'm in the process of working on a video, and this week is no different. I've got some new stuff that I'll be showing off, so it's a lot of fun, and I hope you decide to check it out. Thanks, Zach, one of our admins, posted the link there. Appreciate that. It sounds like K6ARK is in there as well. How's it going? Lots of people. Hello, Josh, waving hand from Central Connecticut. Right on. That's Joe, Ham Radio Guy. What's up? Yeah, very good. Okay, so I want to get right going into the interview, but let me hit up some of our stuff here. Want to point out Leia's merch store, along with which is fueled by the merch ideas from Leia's podcast, the hamtactical.com website. We've got the I've Got to Abri shirt, which is an idea that came out of the podcast, I believe. Fang, to keep kids off drugs, which is true. Very true. If they get into HF, though, you guarantee they're not going to get on drugs. And Resonate, Radiate, and Propagate, which is the shirt that I workshopped a bit on the podcast, and I'm literally wearing it right now. There it is, Resonate, Radiate, and Propagate. And that's pretty much the topic of today's show is Resonate, Radiate, and Propagate. So we'll definitely be talking about that. This was a big week for introductions, though. People coming out with new products. This week was a lot of really interesting products that came out this week. And I picked, I think, the most interesting one, the EnergySys wireless coax system. Did everybody catch this one? Felix Farquharson, thank you very much for that super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Just wanted to see if anybody saw this. This actually got released on the Ham Radio Outlet website. So interesting to see what comes out of that. I wonder if there's anybody else interested as much as I am in that product, I bet. Also of note, I have hinted at, radios are some radios might be harder to get. We talked about Kenwood last week or the week before that with some of the issues that they announced due to sourcing parts, all kinds of different stuff, and that they are discontinuing some of their radios. I'm not saying the Yaesu is doing that, but if you were sitting on the fence on an FT3DR, the FT3DR is $100 off at $389 at HRO right now. So that's a pretty good deal. And Don N5SKT nailed it. That was a April Fool's joke. They actually made that over at HRO. They put this all together in Photoshop. I found out about it, and I was like, man, you guys are pretty crazy. That's really awesome what they did. So, all right, so we've got Mike K8MRD on tonight's show. Please go sub to Mike. He does a lot of really great videos. He's doing a couple of live streams lately and always has a lot of fun out there in the field doing parks on the air. And that's where a lot of his experience comes from in talking about antennas, is because he takes them into the field, does the beat and the bash on them, and decides what can be used in the future. So he is of a discerning mind when it comes to antennas. And we're going to hear all about that today. So let's bring Mike in right now. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's going on? Hello, everyone.
So what have you been, well, I mean, I know what you've been up to because I see the videos that you post, but anything fun and interesting that you want to talk about as we kick things off here?
Oh gosh, I mean, I feel we should probably get into it because antennas are kind of my thing. But yeah, I've got cool stuff on the way. Mostly, I've got antennas to build, and I've got some gear to review. I'm going to be going out doing a Parks on the Air activation tomorrow at Huntsville State Park with the new IC 705. I'll probably be using the Packtenna end-fed half-wave. So yeah, all kinds of cool shenanigans. I do want to plug really quick.
Yeah,
shameless plug.
Okay.
The K8MRD radio stuff merch.
Oh, there you go.
On sale now finally. So this is the Tower of Terror shirt, we call it, and I have another one called Happy Skull Guy,
which we'll see here shortly.
Yes, on grapefineamateurradio.com. If one of the admins can throw a
and
link in there, that'd be great.
I will get it into the live stream description too. So send that to me.
The shirts will add 6 dB to your signal.
Oh.
And if you buy both of them, they actually cancel out if someone's keying up on you.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
It helps you break pileups if you layer them.
Yeah. Yep,
so if you wear them at the same time, of course. I will tap into the beer really quick so we can get started. But this is a homebrew from Matt. One of our admins sent me that. So, a Kolsch that he homebrewed, and you'll probably hear more about Matt's beers next weekend because they are going to be running a event for Ham Radio Adventures. Oh, my notes are dead. What happened to my notes? I will pull them up. But so Matt's been homebrewing like a madman because there's a big event going on next weekend for Ham Radio Adventures. And I'm waiting for my notes. There we go. So I can talk through some of these points. But they're going to go and try and activate a ton of parks in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, I believe. And I need to pull up that.
The Outer Banks are some of the most... It's one of the most beautiful places I've been. When I lived in Virginia, me and some friends would go down to the Outer Banks and we'd rent a beach house for a week and just like fish and drink and eat for an entire week, and it is, oh my gosh, it is so beautiful. So yes, they will have a lot of fun. The
details on that is they're going to be on the Outer Banks from the 9th to 11th, and they have a website which I'll get in the description. Go to QRZ and Good Game Radio Adventures website for more information. And again, this is part of Ham Radio Adventures Ham Radio Club. There will be a ton of members out there doing their thing, and so look for that call sign, which I'm sure somebody will drop the call sign for me. It is, I can't remember the call sign, but they'll all be operating the same call sign, so the only identifier will be the park identifier. So make sure you're looking out for that. David Potter, thank you for the super chat. My goodness.
Yep, buddy.
Thank you both. You both motivated me for my extra. Oh, very good. So
awesome.
That's to both of us there. Way to go,
awesome.
Mike.
Congratulations. That was a tough one.
Yes.
I studied. I took a class. Yeah, but it's nice to have.
And then make it and fix it. 3 friends of mine tested and passed today. Woot woot! Congratulations to them. And he $2.23. That's a little inside joke for those of you that get it. Yeah, good caliber. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So the link is in the description, the chat, obx.we4dx.cl. And we4dx is the call sign that you'll be looking for, which is the call sign for the Ham Radio Adventures group. Right on. Cool.
So I need to introduce my cat, Satan. You'll be hearing him throughout the chat.
Yeah.
He's looking out the window meowing. And I also need to give a big shout out to Adam K6ARK. I got a random package of beer in the mail the other day, so I finally cracked one open. So I'm drinking this is the Belching Beaver Deftones Phantom Bride IPA. This is really good.
I haven't had that. I haven't had that one.
7.1 ABV, named after the ethereal song by the one and only Deftones. So you guys know I'm a metalhead, so yes, Deftones. Phantom Bride IPA is a blend of Amarillo, Citra, Simcoe, and Mosaic hops, so it's like citrusy right up my alley. It's not too citrusy. I can't have enough citrus, so. But yeah, this is very good. So thank you, Adam. And you need to Adam, text me. I need to send you some beers, but I don't know what you like to drink, so I'll get you some Texas beers.
Yeah,
Thank
Belgian
you.
Beaver is a big popular brewery down here. I've been there a couple of times, and we see them all over the place. So, right on. Okay, well, enough chit chat. We got serious antenna talk here, Mike. You're champing at the bit to get started with this. So we both have a couple of slides to walk through, and we'll have a little bit of fun. So we're gonna flip over right there. So these are Mike's slides, and there's the other logo that Mike had mentioned, which is pretty cool. The cross towers, happy skull guy. I like it. So yeah, why don't you walk us through these, Mike, and I'll run the board.
Sure. So this is a list of things that I primarily use. This is not a full list by any means, but these are the things that I really enjoy using the most. Someone said my audio wasn't loud enough, though. I don't know if it's just me not talking into the mic or what, but
I've given her all she's got now.
Could be. That's fine. So we have the portable antennas. Notice the P-O, T, and A are capitalized for POTA. See what I did there?
Mm-hmm.
Aha! Next slide, please.
Okay.
So these are just some of my favorites. I really haven't met too many antennas that I like. This first one's the Packtenna link dipole. And we're going to see a recurring theme here with a lot of these. The pros of these, it's a resonant antenna. I mean, you can't get any better than a resonant antenna. They're lightweight, they're inexpensive, they're very easy to deploy, they're very tiny. I run 100 watts SSB through them, no problem. They're 26 gauge wire, very quick to set up, take down. You can run them. I always run it as an inverted V, but if you want to kind of extend the legs and have 3 supports, you can run them as a horizontal. Dipoles just get out. They're fantastic.
Right.
Some of the cons, though, when I'm out in the park, they are big. It's 65-ish feet long. So anytime you put up an antenna, people are going to always kind of want to flock to it for some reason. You could be out in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of like
it's a beacon.
It is. It's like when Kumar went to pee and Harold and Kumar go to White Castle and they're in the middle of nowhere, and then some other guy just comes right next to him in the bush. That's what it's kind of like.
It does feel like that sometimes.
So people can trip on the wires. You do need 3 attachment points. You need a center, whether it's a tree or a telescopic mast that I use a lot. It only comes from Packtenna as a 20-meter antenna, so you need to buy more wire to make it a 40 or an 80 or whatever, but it's totally customizable. You can do whatever you want with it. And then if you want to change bands, you have to take it down, and then you have to unlink it or link it to change the band. So you got to get up and do. I mean, it literally takes like a minute, maybe 2 minutes, but I'm reaching at straws. These are cons that are like
right. Yeah.
So
big shout out to Joe Cup with the $7.62. There's my favorite rifle caliber. So that's K8MRD. Got my tech ticket on Monday thanks to Josh HRCC and the ARRL book. So very good on that.
Congratulations, Joe.
And then Don D. Agidio says, hello all, watching from bed, back still causing a problem, but had acupuncture, 73 from WJ3U. And we hope you're on the mend. We're glad to hear you're doing well and are able to at least watch some of the videos out there. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Joe and Don D. Agidio.
All right.
Yeah, buddy.
Ready for the next slide?
Next slide, please.
Ooh, that animation.
See that?
Ooh.
I'm like,
Tom,
that's like smoking egg quality right there.
That is. Tom Kimball, thank you for the super chat. He said 308, which actually that's good too. Thanks, buddy.
So this is the Packtenna Mini 9-to-1. Now this is a multi-band antenna. So that's kind of the biggest pro about this. It's very lightweight. All of Packtenna's antennas are very lightweight. They're very small. This one, this and the next one are by far the easiest antennas that I own to set up. This one I just run straight up as a vertical, but you can run it as a sloper. You can run it as an inverted V, however you want. All of Packtenna's antennas are pretty inexpensive. They're about $100. which is very reasonable for what you get and the quality and everything involved in them. This has a shorter, I don't think it's even 43 feet. I think it's probably 41 and a half, 42 feet, because I put it up on a 43-foot mast. It might be 40 feet, something like that. So a little bit shorter, not as much room if you're going to run it as like an inverted V or something. Again, 100 watts sideband. I don't know what the CW is. It's probably like 25 or FT8. You definitely want to lower the wattage for that.
Yeah.
So this uses a very small footprint. When I run this, I run my 43-foot mast. It's just straight up, and I run some counterpoise around that, which I have as a con, but I mean, it's, again, we're kind of grasping for cons here on these. It does need a tuner, though. Right.
These are all antennas that you deploy. You like these. Yes. These are awesome. So thank you, W1TRK. Appreciate the super chat. What mast do you use?
Yeah.
I don't think you had a slide on that. What
mast? I didn't. Yeah, I use a multitude of masts. So with this one specifically, I have the MFJ 1917 telescopic fiberglass mast. It's sitting right over there. It's a fantastic. It's like $200 though. It's not cheap, but it is awesome.
So how do you do you guide that? How do you take care of all
that? So I put a Jubilee clip, as it were, or a hose clamp to us Americans,
right?
On the first section, like before it even telescopes out, just on the main, I put it at the top, and then I just looped 3 paracord loops around it.
Okay.
And then I just guy it off like that. I put nothing up top at all. It's guide at like 4 feet. That's
okay.
It.
And
I just run it up.
That's not a complex guiding system. That's just paracord, getting it done.
Super easy.
Okay.
Yep. There's about 10 feet of paracord, maybe 12 feet of paracord, and then I just use these cheap, like 88-cent Walmart stakes that you get in the sporting goods department. And
just the plastic ones, or are they the shepherd's crook kind?
Well, I have the plastic ones and I have the metal ones. The metal ones are a little bit easier. The plastic ones get kind of blunt on the end. But so cons of this antenna, you do need a tuner. Now this is not your radio's tuner unless you have like a G90 or an X5105 or a KX2 or KX3 that has a very wide matching tuner. This won't work with like your 7300.
Right.
You need a tuner that's capable of tuning like a 10-to-1 SWR, which is thousands of ohms. But I've tuned this with my MFJ, 939, my portable tuner, from 160 to 6 meters, I think, like everything. So there is a bit of compromise. You lose some power doing that, and you lose some efficiency. But I mean, I've worked all over the place with this antenna. I've done reviews on all of the Packtenna antennas. If you are interested, just go to YouTube and type in K8MRD and you'll see them, or type in the specific antenna and I'm sure I'll come up.
Do you ever run these like over a weekend where you kind of leave them set up? Because so far these are portable, packable antennas, right?
Yes. And these are not meant for like permanent installations or anything.
Sure.
They're not waterproof.
Would they handle like a weekend just sitting up there though? If I guess it wasn't soaking wet on them. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Right on. I do like. I think one of my favorite parts about this style of antenna that it's not Jeremy, George makes is George. The winder. I like the way the winder works with these antennas. And again, he's using the same winder for both the all of the end feds and the linked dipole. The holes, the mountings. I think
they're slightly different size. It's slightly bigger on the linked dipole, but the 9-to-1 and the end fed I think are the same.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'm sitting here. No, they are all the same. Well, the end fed, I'm looking at 2 of them. I don't have the dipole out here.
Probably helps save complexity if he just uses the same winder for most of this.
But yeah, it is an absolutely fantastic design. He nailed it out of the park.
Right on. Okay. Ready for next one?
Next slide, please.
Next slide. Ooh. Now,
this one is the Packtenna end-fed half-wave. Now, I have 2 favorite antennas.
Yes.
This is one of them. It is a resonant antenna. It's resonant. It's a resonant multi-band antenna. It's resonant on 40, 20, 15, and 10, how I cut it. I added a 40-meter element to it. It only comes as a 20-meter, just like the dipole, so you have to add more wire and kind of make it yourself. That's fine by me because I love making antennas.
Right.
So I turned it into a 40-meter, and I'm resonant on all those bands. stupid quick setup. I use this with my Gocher 10-meter carbon fiber mast, which is very, very tiny and flimsy at the top, and I run it as an inverted V, and it handles it like a champ. If you watch this video that I did, I was in Michigan when I did the review video of it, and I got Alaska, and I'm screaming like a little girl.
Yep.
When I moved to Texas, I did a couple parks on the air activations with this and the G90 just running 20 watts. I got Alaska again. This thing gets out.
That's fantastic.
Jack Martin, thank you.
Hey, Jack Martin.
You are amazing.
Look at that. The animated pair. That was
love
great.
that.
How did they come up with the stickers, the animated stickers on YouTube? When has the animated pair ever been a part of YouTube lore? I don't. Anyway, thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
So, again, they're lightweight. Run them however you want, vertical slope or inverted V. You could probably do, if you make it like an 80 meter, you can run an inverted L. If you make it an 80 meter, you can probably get all of the bands too. So I'm just never on 80, so I don't want 135 feet of wire.
Right, and you don't have to pull it all out, right? I'm assuming you set it up kind of. You'll run the 40 element and then that's it.
Well, that's all I have.
Oh,
so
I see.
I can unlink it just for 20 if I want.
Sure.
Because I did link it at the center. But yeah, you can. That's the cool thing about it. If you link it and if you want to add 80, then add another 60 some odd feet and you're good.
Right.
But so it's, they're just they're awesome.
Now, they're generally longer than a 9-to-1, right? Because it's a half-wave antenna. So you have a half length of wire for whatever band you're operating on. So 40 meters is what? What's that in length? Is that like 80 feet or something? Why am I?
No, it's
40 something.
It's
I don't remember.
60. It's like
60?
62 and a half feet. I
Adam
pulled
will
a
tell
tape
us.
measure out in my review video. I pulled a tape measure out and I showed it in inches, or, feet and centimeters.
Yep. I knew it. Adam would be the first one, and he was 66 feet. Nailed it. Okay, thank you, Adam. I love when I pose a question like that.
I don't
it's
think
just...
it's 66 feet though. Mine isn't.
Do you run the?
I don't think mine's quite 66 feet.
He makes a really cool choke ballon. Do you run that too?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I've not needed it. And I run 100 watts into this with, like, I don't know, 40-ish feet of coax of RG8X.
That probably helps a lot too.
Yeah.
I do like that everything's BNC with what he does.
Yep.
Which is it's always a pain to have a coax line that is like split between PL259 and BNC. You can make them, of course, but it's kind of like a unitasker coax. I'd rather just have like an all BNC or an all PL259. But with a lot of the QRP radios, they're all BNC. So that means you're like, you, and I know you've done this, you forget the adapter and you're done, right? You're done. It's so frustrating to just, why don't we just, if it's QRP, BNC all the way. If it's, a base station, go PL259.
So what I did, I bought 100 feet of coax. There was a place called Adams Electronics down the street from where I lived in Michigan, and that's who Elmered me on my extra was Scott Adams, AC8IL. Hi, Scott. And they're a land mobile radio business, but they're hams and they sell coax and like Chinese radios and stuff. So I got all my coax and stuff from there. So I got some maybe RG58U or something like that. I forget what it was, but
cool.
I put a PL259 on one and I put an SO or a BNC on the other. So I have 100 feet of coax that has a BNC male specifically for using my Packtenna antennas.
Yep.
So, and I have all kinds of adapters.
Yep.
And I told Scott at some point, like, if I ever come in and buy an adapter, make me buy two.
Yep.
Because one is none and two is one.
I have I have my portable bag. Like when I grab things to go portable, there's a little nylon baggie that has a duplicate of every adapter in the bag.
Yep.
And then there's a carbon copy of all those adapters in my overhead workspace they're the same adapters, and it goes male and female UHF to male and female BNC is the primary. But then I got a lot of SMA random ones too.
I've got all kinds of adapters. I literally have a bag just full of them. So anyway, we got to keep moving on.
John
so some
Armstrong.
cons about the.
Yeah, I didn't even know you got to the cons. John Armstrong, thank you for the super chat. Says, thank you, brand new tech general here. It's my deceased father-in-law's call sign from the 1950s. You've helped me a ton getting out of the blocks on a bunch of topics. Wow.
That's awesome.
Thank you, John. And yeah, I'm glad you could carry on your father-in-law's call sign. It's great. All right, so tell me about them cons, Mike.
So cons. So as you said, you may need an inline choke. Now, I have no idea when you would need one, but you might.
Sure.
And it is a bit longer, like the dipole. It's about 65 feet or so. So it's a trip hazard. And this goes for all Packtenna antennas. They are usually out of stock because Packtenna is awesome and they sell out quickly. So they have a groups.io page. It's packtenna.groups.io.com or something like that. George is very responsive in answering questions about when is this going to be available, all that kind of stuff. So if you want a Packtenna, that's how you find out. He doesn't do Twitter. He doesn't well, I'm not on Facebook, so I don't know. But go to the packtennagroups.io. That's how you can find out if they're going to be available soon. So
that's the mark of a good boutique product where you have to go to a special website to find out if it's going to be in stock.
Yeah. You got to understand that Packtenna is a small company. This isn't George's full-time job. George has a real job.
And a podcast.
Makes antennas as a hobby and a podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
He's not like Chameleon where they're just cranking out antennas, but Chameleon stuff is back ordered too. So one here is just a quick shot of a Go box that I built. I do not use this anymore, but that is the Packtenna link dipole on top of my Yaesu 891, just to show for scale. And then I've got like 50 feet of coax there. So
that's a nice little kit. That's a good box. What's the is that a Bio-Eno battery?
No, this was way early in my portable career. Okay. That's a Duracell like 9 amp hour battery or something. A
sled.
This was like this was like the activation. If you see me doing like the KG6 HQD speaker wire antenna, that's what I was using then. Like I was still doing QRP with the 891. But.
Those were the ones where you were wearing the suit and you had the little speaker in your ear and you were holding it, so you had this briefcase, so you were walking out. That's why everybody was like getting the heck out of the way. They didn't know what you were up to. Some James Bond villain.
Next slide, please.
Next slide.
Yes, that is a Harbor Freight box. So now we have my second favorite antenna. Not like number 2, just the Packtenna NFED half-wave is my favorite antenna, and the DX Commander Expedition is my favorite antenna. They are equal. I love them both. So
they're like your children. You can't love one more than the other.
This antenna I freaking love. I love building antennas, so that was cool that it comes as a kit and you get to build the antenna. The wire is just so fantastic.
It is truly.
Multi-band resonant antenna. It is a full quarter wave vertical. It's basically a vertical fan dipole. There's no transformers. There's no balance to lose any power. Highly efficient. They're very quick to deploy. It takes me about 15 minutes to set this whole thing up. It is a pretty small footprint. This has the same footprint as my Packtenna 9-to-1. I run it. It's just vertical, and there's I have 20 some odd 11 meter counterpoise wires. So where you see, I don't know if they can see, where you see the guy wires going down, where they connect to the ground is where the radials end. Like that's it. That's the circle. So
oh wow, yeah,
that's pretty small. And like I just said, you make the antenna for the bands you want. So if you wanted to make it for, so mine is 40, 20, 17, 15, and 10. I think I get like 5 bands out of it.
That's a classic or expedition?
That's the expedition. I have a classic. I haven't. I put it together, but I haven't used it yet.
I thought
don't have anywhere to put it.
I have an expedition. I thought it only maxed out at 4 elements. I know you get 15 as a part of 40.
You get 4 elements, yes, but 15 is because of 40.
Okay, so there's the 5.
There's that second hole, or that weird like third hole on it. It's like off the side. So
yeah.
So some of the cons, it is a lot of wire. I have a whole bag just of wire.
Yeah.
So both counterpoise wires and radiating elements. I do organize them very well. I use the over-under technique to wrap them, so you literally can just throw them out. They don't kink. They don't tie in knots and things.
That is specifically facilitated by that finish on that cable, though. That cable is buttery smooth.
Yeah.
You throw it, and it's like it's awesome.
When I opened that package and I felt that wire, I was like, dang, this This is nice. It's very nice. So a little bit longer to deploy, about 15 minutes versus like probably 5 to 10 minutes for any of the other antennas that we've mentioned. It is a larger overall size, being that you have that, so that
it is,
that mast collapses down to 60 centimeters, which is just shy of 2 feet. And then there are tiny parts. There's wing nuts that connect all of the radiating elements and the counterpoise wires to the antenna. So I never unscrew them all the way, but if you do, like they get in the grass, they're gone. So
yeah,
that's kind of,
it's a really good antenna. Once it takes a little bit of time to set it up the first time. Your 15-minute assembly is like once it's built, but it's a kit. It's a full-on kit. You got to crimp some wires. You got to do the little bungee cord clippy things.
They're
and all
doinkies.
that. Doinky. Okay, good.
Doinkies, yeah.
It took me, I don't know, half a day, and I was leisurely going about it to get it all dialed in. But when you get it dialed in, it really is amazing. It's a very good performing antenna.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I think that was all I had.
Okay. Well, very good.
There is, yes.
Okay.
Unless you want to talk about these.
No, it's fine. Go ahead, because I'm going to talk about a couple of them. Yeah.
So I have some honorable mentions, and I forgot one, but the K6ARK antenna, the NFED.
We will be talking about that.
So the Chameleon MPOS 2.0 is like the most versatile antenna kit that exists that I know of. I don't have one. I do have some Chameleon antennas coming, so I'm excited to play with those. The KM4 ACK NFED half-wave kit. I have this. I haven't put it together, but for my love of NFED half-waves, I had to get one of those. And then I also have the QRP Guys no-tune NFED half-wave that I need to put together as well. So I will be doing videos on many more antennas to go. So that's all I got.
There's a comment in the chat from Greg H. He says, I hope you'll be doing the Chameleon Spider Quad band antenna with ham or shark ham sticks. I have that now, and I will not be doing working on it right now. It's pretty cool, particularly if you've got ham sticks. It runs off of ham sticks. You know, that makes it fun, because ham sticks are pretty versatile, right? You could put it on your car. You could just do vertical with it, the whole thing. So I'm going to queue up my slides while we're getting ready here.
Oh, I got bigger.
Yeah, that was the welcome to Mike opening there. All right, so here's my slide. Josh's favorite portable antennas, pros and cons. So right out of the chute, the Soda Beams band hopper. Have you used this, Mike?
Yes. So Matt and Evan and myself, that's good grammar, went to the sand dunes of Lake Michigan last year, and we did a sand dunes on the air. It was a Parks on the Air activation, and that thing got out. That was fantastic. That was really good.
I particularly like this antenna a lot because it's built by somebody, and I'm trying to adjust it because I don't like the black bars. I'm trying to do that live. It's never a good idea to do that while you're trying to talk. The people that developed it, I think they really kind of know their market. They are obviously Soda's in the name. The bag that it comes with, the little green bag, is fantastic. It has the little tent spikes all in it, and it is a 3-leg dipole. 2 are radiating legs, and the 3rd leg is a stabilizing leg, and that allows it to pretty much stand up to the wind. You can be on a summit, and it won't fall over, and it doesn't require any additional guying of the mast. The mast actually will just stand vertically. Once you get those 3 legs set up correctly, it just sits perfect. It's really, really nice. It is a linked dipole, so you do have to go play the alligator clip game with it, but I've used it with a 100-watt amplifier, no problem. And you would think, looking at it, that it would, you know, the toroid in there and everything else, you'd be worried that you'd put too much power on it. But I was doing digital with it, and I think I had the power all the way up to 75 watts. Which,
holy crap.
Yeah, I just threw it at it. I was like, hey, let's throw the power at it. And it was fine. No damage to it or anything.
That was Mike N8YO, not Evan on the lake. I was corrected. Sorry, Mike.
So the pros is no tuner. It's extremely light. It handles the wind really well. Fantastic stowage because the bag covers the whole thing. It has really nice wire winders that already have Velcro attached. It's literally take it out of the bag, use it, and then everything's there to get it back into where it needs to be. And the little shepherd's hook stakes that it comes with work great. The cons, though, much like Mike mentioned with the Packtenna linked dipole, it does require a lot of space. So it is 40, 30, and 20, and when you're fully guyed out on 40 meters, the whole length of the antenna, it can be long. So there are some summits that you can't actually set it up on because the space is just too small. You probably have less problems with that when you do a POTA, right, Mike?
Typically, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have done some in the woods where it was a little more challenging to get it up, but yeah,
sure,
I've gotten them up. I haven't had a place where I could not put up a dipole. No.
Okay. I question its durability over time. It is a high-speed, low-drag antenna. There are parts of it that are just crimped, and then a bit of hot glue to hold the center connector onto the main top for the balun. And the balun is literally just a piece of plastic card that everything's kind of connected to. It's got a hole in the bottom of the balun, and you literally take the mast just right up through the hole, and that's what makes it all balanced and squared off. It doesn't come with a mast. That's not that big a deal, though. You can just buy those $7 cheapy fiberglass 7-meter poles, the fishing rods off of eBay, and those work fine from my experience. So yeah. There it is, the K6ARK end-fed. And that's pretty much to scale. That's a KX2 behind the antenna. It is tiny. It's like a business card, basically, that he has the wire wrapped around. And the UNUN is literally attached to the BNC. There is no coax run to a box and then to a wire. It is literally wire coming out of radio, antenna in the air. So this is very acceptable to use as an inverted V or in a tree, get something over. It's super easy to pack. In fact, I carry this antenna regardless of what antennas I'm taking out in the field. It doesn't matter because it's so small, it fits in any pack or a little pocket of anything you've got. You might as well just throw that antenna in there because if it's all not going to work, well, you've always got that one that you can rely on, which is great. Yeah, great performer. Go ahead.
This is one of the absolute coolest antennas.
Oh, yeah.
That I've ever seen. I'm honored to have one. Mm-hmm. The design, putting the UNUN on the BNC and watching how he builds it. If you guys haven't seen it, go check out K6ARK's YouTube channel. He shows how you build this. He's like cutting the BNC and with a Dremel tool, and I mean he's a mad scientist. He's just this antenna. Oh my gosh. I will mention Adam will likely join us on the after chat. He often does. I'm speaking on his behalf right now. He might. Oh, he'll be there.
But he's in chat, and so if you do have questions for him, he'll answer them. But please do go watch his videos as well, and then we'll take some more comments when we get to the after chat. I used this in Big Bear, California. I did a antenna shootout, and it was this antenna, the DX Commander Expedition, the KM4 ACK end-fed, similar type of product, and the Chameleon MPass. I gotta say, they all performed really well. The K6ARK was on towards the top of the list, but it's the smallest. So you have to consider the DX Commander was the best performer, but it's an order of magnitude larger, right, for what you bring into the field.
Oh, yeah.
But the end-fed, Adam's end-fed, worked fantastically. So, great job, Adam. Wolf River Coils, Mike loves this antenna too.
Yes.
Like I said, there's a lot of overlap here. I'll let Mike kick this off because actually Mike has more experience with this antenna than I do, but I really do like it. What are your thoughts on this antenna?
Yeah, some people were waiting for this antenna
in
chat. So the Wolf River Coils was the first commercial antenna that I bought. I built a few antennas for portable, and still just being kind of new to ham radio in general, a new general licensee. This is only two and a half years ago now. Was when I kind of started all this stuff. But
You've grown so fast, Mike. You've grown up so fast. They grow up so fast these days with the ham radio.
Spread our wings and fly.
It's just out there.
So I bought the Silver Bullet 1000, just stock with however it comes, and I made so many POTA contacts with that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's lightweight. It packs up in my backpack. It's very easy to deploy. It's economical. What are they? $150 maybe, if that.
And I think that's for the Mega too. Like $150, maybe a little more for the Mega, and you do want the Mega.
Yeah, I think you want the Mega. $165 if you want the bigger tripod. Yeah,
you want it. Don't. I wouldn't get the smaller one.
Yes, definitely get the bigger one. The smaller one works, but the bigger one is better.
Yep,
for sure. But yeah, like I mean, I don't want to do your whole thing here, but so I'll say all the good things about it. They get out. They're easy.
Yeah,
they're lightweight. They work. They're just as much of a moth into a flame attractor for people to want to walk into them as any other antenna that I own. They're awesome. They're omnidirectional. They're great. I love them.
That image is in San Diego, down in Oceanside, and I set that up on the beach on the surf break because we rented a condo that was right there. That was the backyard, and people would walk up and down. This is obviously at high tide, but at low tide the water's way out there, and people were walking around just like looking at this thing like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
Am I getting radiated with the 5Gs by being anywhere near it? So the couple of things to say about this one is, Mike already mentioned, it's multi-band. It's a multi-band coiled vertical, which is kind of like a tapped coiled vertical. You slide this collar up and down to attain its multi-bandedness. It's economical. Mike mentioned that. It's effective when it's tuned up right. It's easy to upgrade because there's a lot of people that will take other companies' vertical whips, telescopic whips, and they'll attach it to the coiled body, and it works really, really well. In fact, I've used the Chameleon 17-footer, and the MFJ has a similar 17-footer. I've used that too, and that's for like if you want way more effectivity down on 40 meters and 80 meters. The cons to it, though, there is a learning curve if you're going to change bands, or if you want to get like the best performance on the low side of 20 or the high side of 20. You do have to fiddle with that collar, and if you don't bring an analyzer and you're just going off the radio, it can get frustrating when you start out. But once you get the idea of it, it's very easy to do.
Some people mark on their coils where the collar is kind of resonant. I never did that, just because it kind of changes every time you set up the antenna depending on your ground conditions and whatnot. But that'll at least get you in the ballpark as far as like the up and down. But even just turning that collar ever so slightly, I mean, there is a definitive sweet spot with the Wolf River coils. So having an analyzer is definitely going to help. My first several times taking it out, I was just running back and forth between my radio and the antenna, and I would just key up on like AM or CW or something and check the SWR, run back to the antenna, raise it. I did learn, though, if you just crank the volume on your radio, go to the Wolf River coil and adjust the collar up and down and listen for the loudest noise. That's kind of where you're going to be close.
I think I put that in my review when I was talking about this, is that a lot of these antennas, the ones where you physically are tuning it, you can generally get pretty close with the noise, just listening for the noise to come up on the radio. It can handle 100 watts of single sideband without much of a problem. However, if you start going towards 50 or higher watts of digital, it could actually fail, and the PVC coil could droop and actually melt because it is made of PVC. So do keep that in mind.
They do have a platinum version that will handle 500 watts.
So I thought K Booty was just messing with me. Is that something that came out recently?
They told me about it at the Florida Hamcation last year. Or no, in 2000. When was that? Yeah, it was just last February.
So you can buy
that is a real thing.
Yeah, no, I just see it. Oh, well, I'll show you here. Let me pull it up. So that's a good piece of info. So they have a 1000. You can just buy the coil for $165, which I might just do that. But if you want the full kit, it's $252. Wow. Okay. Cool. I might have to. I might have to do that because I do like to have the ability to throw more power into some of these portable antennas because
that's a huge con with just about every vertical antenna.
Yeah.
Like whether it's the Chameleons or the Wolf River Coils or whatever, they're 100-watt sideband, but you're only maybe 50 on like FT8. And if you need to run 100 watts or more on FT8 to make the contact,
I'll tell you when
it's about melting antennas. So that's why they came out with the platinum.
I like it because so I've always found, FT8, I get it. It's like 100% duty cycle, 50% on, 50% off. The ones that get you though is WinLink. Because if you're hopping around looking for different nodes, you could be just squawking out digital for a while until you find one. And then if you get a lot of emails like I do, I could start up HF WinLink, even doing QRP, and it'll sit there for like 30, 40 minutes, just running through all the back and forth data exchanges. And those suckers can get hot. I've actually saturated one of my end-fed half waves just from sitting there, and it's actually resonant on frequency. It's just I was using it so much that it can handle the power, but it's not like handle the power forever, right? So throw an extra robustness. It's probably the diameter or the gauge of the wire on the coil that allows it to be a little bit more resistant, or maybe it's the material.
It's the PVC that they use.
Is it?
It is.
Yeah.
They showed it. They showed me a prototype last year at Hamcation, and it's a lot heavier. It's more robust. I mean, it's the same physical size, but it's the PVC that they embiggened, if you will.
Embiggened. Yeah,
it was cromulent that they embiggened that.
So there's the KM4ACK end-fed. Oh, you know what? I forgot to mention something. Got to go back a step. The K6ARK, we were gushing over it. The only con, you got to homebrew it for now. For now, when we'll see what happens in the future. Yeah. But yeah, it's a DIY right now. Didn't want to forget mentioning that. Fantastic, but I saw a kit and I remembered that, I got to mention that. KM4ACK also has an end-fed that he produces and sells on his site, and you can just Google KM4ACK antenna and it'll come up. The pros for it, incredibly cheap for the kit. Very, very cheap.
Yeah.
Also uses
$39.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
He also uses really, really good wire. The wire winder is 3D printed, but it's nice. It's a 3D printed winder. It's effective. It's effective on pretty much all the HF bands. You build the toroid match directly onto the wire winder. So it's always all together. And yeah, it's a kit build is the only con. But I did a video where I didn't even look into it. I just sat down and did it. I didn't even look at the instructions. I just looked at the picture of it. People got all mad at me. They're like, "You just turned the camera on and you didn't do anything." I'm like, "Isn't that good? Doesn't that mean it tells you that it's an easy kit that you could build it yourself?" Okay. But it works really well. And that was the other antenna I tested in Big Bear. You've got one of these too, right? Somewhere?
Yeah, it's still in the bag. That's one of the things I need to put together. I'm really excited for it.
Oh, and Don nailed it. That dog bone insulator, I agree. That's really cool because it's another little 3D printed piece that very good. I don't think you had a QRP's guys end-fed, but I don't think you had this one.
This is not the one, no. Correct.
So this is a vertical. It's a QRP guys 3-band portable vertical antenna. It does require a guide-out mast, and you kind of just get the cable, the wire up, and I secure it with, a piece of tape, or I have a connector to a bungee. What'd you call it?
Called doingies.
A doingie. I had a doingie that I was using to kind of pull it tight with my mast I was using. This is also a kit. It does require coiling 2 toroids up. It's cheap, though. It's easy to build. Covers 3 bands, so 20, 30, and 15, and 40. It's easy to pack because it's also really small. It has 3 or 4 radials that go along with it. The only cons with this one is that the 40 meters portion of it can be a little fidgety to get tuned up correctly. I had a lot of problems getting mine all sorted out, and people say that it's either you need one more wrap or one less wrap on the toroid, and then it's good to go. Liam Spielman with the super chat. Love your content. Thank you. Still learning lots and waiting till I become a permanent resident in my country before I can transmit. Interesting. You'll have to tell us what that means. What is the residency? Which country are you talking about?
I just saw TX and I thought he was in the great free country of Texas. But
no, I think he was talking about transmitting. But yeah,
but
curious.
thank you, Liam.
Thank you.
And I said Texas, so we have to drink.
Oh, okay. Wait, I don't have to. Well, I will, but I'll join you in solidarity.
That's a thing we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've joined the club of. You didn't mention it much. This is the first time it's come up. So
we're talking antennas, so I'm kind of in my element here.
Right. You don't have enough time to talk about Texas. No. Texas is becoming a close second or third, but number one is always antennas with
always
Mike, right?
Antenna. That's right. First, second, and third. Then the radios, then beer.
Okay.
Then my cat, and then Texas.
Sure. Somewhere. And then, okay. So Texas is up there, but not number two. Yeah. The only problem with this is you do need to guy out some kind of mast system to have it be effective. But that's not that big a deal. In fact, Mike's approach to it was a faster approach than I did. I actually 3D printed a guy plate that I used with Dyneema and some tent stakes and all that to get it up. But yeah, those are my slides. I think that's it. No, that's it. So those are
wow.
We
did that in less than an hour.
We did that in less than an hour. Do we have anything to go back on? Did we miss any antennas? I feel like we missed. Oh, we didn't talk about the M-Pass. I should mention the M-Pass.
Yeah.
I've got the parts. I don't want to have to assemble it all right now. Chameleon. You know what? I can just pull up the website. Let's do that. Chameleon antennas are great. They are fantastically well-made antennas. They're all made in the United States. Very robust products. The M-Pass kit, which is under verticals, I believe. Yes. Yeah, this is the one. It comes with a military mast, and then it has another vertical on top of that. And it uses this little micro coil, this CHA micro coil. The only downside with it is you need a tuner. I've used it before, and pretty much you need a tuner most of the time. Have you used it, Mike, or anything in the Chameleon line?
Nope. I just started talking to them.
Okay.
Like 3 days ago, and they're gonna shoot me the Delta Loop, and which is their new. I think it might be their newest product, maybe.
I don't think so. I think it's been out for a little while. But
I don't know. There's not much on it. I was YouTubing it yesterday, and there's not a lot of videos on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be cool to play with that. And then they're gonna send me the long. It's like a long end-fed half wave. They've got a weird name for it, but it's basically an end-fed half wave.
Is it the MCOM 2?
Nope.
Or MCOM 3?
Nope.
Oh.
It's like LE. I forget the letters they use for it, but it's some sort of end-fed half wave.
I'm looking on their site, so maybe that's something new they've got coming out. Oh, the lightweight end-fed sloper. This guy, the Lefs, LEFS.
Yes, that. Yeah.
Cool. I like that they include.
It looks like it's resonant on all the bands and stuff, so. Like 2 to 1 or less. So,
yeah, all their well, that's interesting. That is a very low.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, that's very good. I do
that's
like
right
that.
Up my alley, and it's 60 some odd feet long.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like this ginormous. I've got this MFJ 80 meter end fed half wave, and it works fantastic. It has great ears. It's just so dang long.
Mm-hmm.
And they put really big wire on it for being a QRP antenna, which I thought
wait, which one was that?
It's the shoot, I can't remember now, but it's an end-fed half wave, but they have like a low watt, a medium watt, and a high watt version, and this is the low watt version for QRP.
Okay.
It's still got the big plastic box that they put everything in,
mm-hmm.
and 130 some odd feet of wire. It works fantastic.
Yeah.
And I did a review on this as well, but
Mike,
135 feet of wire is tough.
Yeah, for sure. Mike Kennerkecht, I think Kennerknecht or something. I apologize. I'm sure I butchered your last name. Thank you very much.
I'm going to go with that K is silent.
Kennerknecht, yeah.
Kennerknecht.
So thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, I guess you don't need the tuner for all the bands, depending on how you have. And really, it comes down to that Cha Micro coil device that they have, which is super slick because you can use it with a wire or you can use it with a vertical element. But you need it for all the bands if you want complete coverage. So.
Yeah, the cool thing about that Delta loop is that it is made with the Cha Mini, whatever the heck it is.
Yeah, the Cha Micro.
The Micro. So you can run it as a vertical too. So I'm excited because you get two antennas in one. So.
Yeah, and we'll actually show off some of that stuff on the after chat. But I guess I can tease something. Let me show you right now. Oh, what's that? What's that?
Ooh,
so there's
a sexy looking icon.
There's the Cha Micro, and that one is I believe it's a prototype. That's a white model for standing up to UV damage. So they came out with that so that they you can have an antenna that will stand up to.
So that's almost the whole length of the 705.
Yeah, but it's small.
For scale.
It's
wow.
It's quite small. In fact, let me
the
hold it up that
705
way.
is small. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And then they also sent me this, which is you can take the Cha Micro and you can mount this to a balcony. And then you can just have your radial coming right off of the back. So you can put this on a railing for a balcony. They really do have a ton. It's like a Swiss Army antenna. You can use a wire, or you can use a vertical whip, or you can use the military multi-sectioned extensions. They're fantastic antennas for that.
I suspect that's probably why they named their company Chameleon.
I wonder.
As they could change colors and adapt to various situations in the wild. Very clever. Very clever.
I wonder. Seems like they know what they're doing out there. Very good. Well, we've got a couple of minutes before the hour, so why don't we take some questions? Anybody want to drop a question on a portable antenna they're curious about or haven't?
I saw one.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Someone was asking about loops.
Oh,
I've not had any experience with loops. I don't have really any desire for loops. I don't know, and I don't know why. I have no justification for it.
I understand. I'll tell you when a loop is great. You're on a scenic vacation. 10th story balcony in a plush hotel. You set the loop up right there on the balcony when you're out in the balcony having a drink, enjoying yourself. Loops are great for like balconies, apartment dwellers. They work really well for that. I take mine to the beach, believe it or not. I like using a loop antenna at the beach because they don't need a lot of space, vertical space. And because you got people walking around, milling around, all that stuff. Loops are great. You just go plop, and that's it, and you're good to go. David,
I need to look into one of those. Go ahead.
Well, Chameleon might be the company for you then, because they've got a ton. David Potter, this is to you, Mike. Thanks for the update on hammers.
I'll take this one, Josh. Don't worry.
Yeah, go ahead.
David Potter, thank you. It was my pleasure to introduce to the Parks on the Air world the app called Hammers logging software. That was awesome. That was really cool.
Mike and I were chatting back and forth in text messages. I was like, have you heard of this Hammers app? He's like, yeah, I'm familiar with it. And then he made the live stream. He had it. He had that coming.
Do you really think there's going to be something that exists for POTA that the POTA king is not going to already know about? Like, that's kind of my thing, guys.
Indeed.
And girl, anime's watching. I think there's a girl out there.
The Master Hammer.
But that just made me remember. So I'm always wanting to just set up. So I've got my 705, right? And I want to just have it in like my living room while I'm watching TV. And I want an antenna. And it's like I got that stupid MFJ 1899T, but then you gotta have radials and stuff. A loop would be perfect for just sitting there watching TV and playing radio without having to set up. That's my big thing. Like you always gotta have radials with like all these antennas. That's okay. Now I have a reason to get a loop. that just did it.
So the other item that I just dropped on the table there, have you seen the Bluetooth dongle for the 705?
Yeah.
It will. You can scroll up and down the VFO with it.
There's an app for that too.
If you don't have iPhone, if you have Android, it doesn't work for the iPhone.
The heck it doesn't.
Not on the 705. I can't get mine to work. Yours works?
You have to go into the settings. Yeah, I figured there's like 0 instructions on it.
Oh, okay, cool. We'll cover that in the after chat.
It's called 705 Remote. I don't know if you can see that there.
Wait, is that iComms?
No. This is just some developer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the
It's
iComm
over
app.
Bluetooth. No. It's over Bluetooth. It controls your 705.
But hear me out. The Bluetooth dongle, you can use any earbuds you want, and the microphone is on the dongle.
Yeah, this is just for controlling like the VFO and bands and stuff. You can't talk through this.
There was another question that somebody asked you, and I want to make sure.
It's quirky.
It's quirky. How many antennas do you carry when you POTA, Mike?
Usually just one.
Okay. I'm often carrying a lot.
I'll just grab. I'll look at my arsenal of things and be like, all right, what radio do I want to use? What antenna do I want to use? It's usually kind of down to the Packtenna NFET half wave or the DX Commander Expedition.
Mm-hmm.
But I love antennas so much, and there's so many times that I'll just like play outside. I play radio outside more than I do inside. Even if I'm at home, I would much rather take my station, set a table up outside, set an antenna up, and go. So I do typically have the K6ARK NFET half wave with me. That's pretty much always in my go bag.
Yep.
In my go box, actually, my G90 go box. That's pretty much always in there. Although I don't think it is right now.
Advance 116 watched a bunch of your videos on getting your tech license, passed my exam on January. Thanks for your good content from K04LOU. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Working on the new, I'm doing the polar opposite of my previous technician class, and I'll do general, and I'm threatening to do extra at this point because I've been able to cut it down in how long it takes, and I think the actual cutting down of it is going to be better for a lot of people to learn, I think. Oh, Christiana, thank you for the super chat, N6KV. Josh, I got the MPass 2.0 and the MFJ 1974 whip. Can you use the whip instead of the whip that comes with the MPass? Yes, you can, because if I remember correctly, the 1979 is the 17-foot vertical whip. If you attach the whip to the micro, the Cha micro, and that connects to something, right? Like some vertical, it could connect to the spike with a radial coming off of it. It will work. You do need a tuner though to adjust it, or you could probably adjust the verticality. Verticality, is that a word, of the whip until you find the sweet spot?
Cromulent.
It's cromulent. Yeah. Chris McNabb, keep being awesome and helping the new peeps. Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. That's a super awesome chat. Thank you very much. Everybody's like, we need extra. Man, it's 500. It's 500 questions, dog.
Yeah, it's a lot. A whole lot to go. There's a lot of worthless stuff in there about like computer stuff that has nothing to do with ham radio in these days either. It's crazy, but it's good to have the extra band. And I'll tell you what, after being an extra, I hardly ever go down on the extra bands. It's just, you do hear some DX that you will not hear in the general portion.
That's when it's the most helpful.
Like around 7.162 or so. There's a lot of European stations there that just either other countries don't have the same frequency allocations that we do. So yeah, it's a good thing to have. If anything, just for bragging rights. Yeah, I'm an extra. No big deal. I've
seen a lot of 20-meter DX, like in the mornings and stuff like that. That's when I see a lot of DX come through. And also, if you are a DXpedition chaser, most of the DXpeditions start out the first couple of days in the extra portion. And that probably, I think the reason they do that is they get their sea legs, if you will, getting used to the amount of people that they're going to have in the pileups that they're dealing with, because the extra portion is going to have a little bit less people than if they were in there with the generals. Oh, yeah. So I think that's why they start out doing that. So if you want to lock in your DXpeditions early, get your extra, and that's a quick way to sort that out. Yep. Mike, this was a great talk. Do you have anything you want to mention? Because I'm gonna I'm gonna do my closeout for Patreon because today's episode was the Patrons Picks episode, and
awesome.
patrons voted on you. You were voted out of all the lists of the show topics I gave them. They wanted portable antenna pros and cons with Mike K8MRD, and I put
me specifically, not just portable antennas.
No, I wrote with Mike if I can get him on the show. I wrote that, and it was the one that was voted. So you were picked.
Wow.
By the patrons.
I'm very humbled.
They wanted to hear your thoughts.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. I mean, obviously, go subscribe to K8MRD Radio stuff.
Indeed.
The most creative name on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know. I promote the hobby, promote positivity, pay it forward. That's kind of my mission with the channel. I think it is with all of us anyway. We have such a passion for amateur radio. Like for me, it's a disease. Like
it's a disease.
I hardly ever play my guitar
ham radio
anymore.
positive.
Yeah, I hardly ever play my guitar anymore. I hardly ever play with my pews.
Me too. I used to shoot skeet and trap
radio,
all the time. I don't do that anymore. Yes.
Ham radio has completely consumed my life.
Yeah, you're right.
And I started off watching your videos, Josh. I started watching Tony K9ARV's videos, who's no longer on YouTube.
Yeah.
Ham radio concepts, like a couple other guys, Jerry KG6HQD. By the way, everybody say a prayer for Jerry KG6HQD. We love him.
Keep him in your thoughts.
I am the most atheist person in the world, and I swear to God, I said a prayer to God for Jerry. He needs it. So he is the inventor of the KG6HQD speaker wire antenna.
Never been done before. Never been done before.
Never, ever. And just a true Elmer and a fantastic person.
Indeed.
A very selfless person, a family man, a God-fearing man, a law enforcement officer. Just the most selfless person you'd ever meet in your life, and he's going through some rough times. So please, please, please say your prayers for Jerry.
Very well said. I believe he is through the surgery that he had to go through. He's still.
He is.
I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff. You can. That's not my place, but I think he's on the road, a better road, if you will. So anyway, I agree. Very well said, Mike. That's a fantastic way to tie this up. Mike, I will see you over on the Discord, buddy. If you can hang out with us. Excellent.
I will be there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna throw it over to the Patreon window. Mike, you can hang up on yourself.
Bye, everybody.
We'll see you over on the Discord, buddy.
All right. Thanks, guys.
So thank you, patrons. I appreciate it. A lot of everything I do is really thanks to all your support in what you have going on and supporting the channel. I hope you enjoyed the newsletters and the podcasts and the videos. And we did a patrons-only Zoom chat last night. It was like 3 hours long, and we talked about all kinds of stuff, not just ham radio, personal preparedness and other cool stuff that went along with that. Patron Picks is the first episode of every month where the patrons get to select the topic. This topic was wonderfully selected by the patrons. I agree wholeheartedly. I didn't mention it, but this is the first time in 2021 that Mike has been on the live stream. We had him on last year just before COVID kicked off, and if you go back to that show, I am sick as a dog. I am so sick when I had that show with Mike last year, so I almost don't even remember it. So it's always great to have Mike on. He's fantastic. I love hanging out with him, love talking to him. And man, so Mike's the kind of guy you can just hang out with, have fun. And although we had this topic, to try and cover all these antennas in an hour, we did it. But I always feel like I don't have enough time to just chat with him, because the non-ham radio fun talks with Mike are always great. So thank you, patrons, for voting on that. I absolutely love talking to Mike. Christiana had a super chat. K6KV got my novice and tech license back in 1980, which really was the general test, had vacuum tube questions in it. My general in 2000 and my extra in 2001. Congratulations, Christiana. Thank you for the super chat. And yeah, again, thank you to all the patrons for making this happen. I'll have another vote going out not too long so that people can get started on that and how they want to pick the show topic. If you have not already, please click the thumbs up and subscribe. And click that little bell so I can send you the videos whenever they go live or I go live. And if you have not already, please think about joining us over on Discord. Mike and I are going to be heading over there. K6ARK is probably going to be there as well, and all your favorites from the Ham Radio Crash Course community. I am Josh, KI6NAZ. You've been watching the Ham Radio Crash Course, and I will talk to you later. See ya.
73.
You got in there. I'm playing the outro right now, so give it a little minute to... James Hannibal says, I love Lamp.
Lamp must die.
Lamp must die.
Death to Lamp.
Leia's probably working on a Team Lamp. Team I Hate Lamp or something.
Probably.
All right, we'll see you over on the Discord, everybody. 73.